I love having soup with my meal, so today I'm going to show you guys how I make my fish radish soup. Full disclosure, I don't really look up the actual recipe. I kind of just go out, try a dish, and this is obviously something I've had in the past at other people's homes and in restaurants, and I like it, and I know there's fish in there, obviously, and white radish, green onion, ginger, so I'm just going to play around with knowing what's in it. I got those ingredients, but I like to add my own little twist to it, add the things that I like. So today I'm going to be also putting in garlic with it, and I'm going to add chicken stock, so chicken broth, which you can get in a can, into my soup along with the water to just kind of cook the fish in. And because I don't like fish soup that has a lot of bone in it, and a lot of people, like, I'm fine with drinking soup and then spitting out the bone, but I think a lot of people aren't really good at that or aren't not really comfortable with that. So what I'm gonna do today is actually fry the fish, which my parents taught me is, like, when you're making fish soup, you should fry the fish in oil and like ginger and alcohol and stuff. Cooking wine, I mean. So I'm gonna do that, but this time instead of just throwing the whole fish into the soup, which I have done in the past, and then the bones all fall apart and stuff, I am gonna try and debone everything, then throw it in. It gets all messy in the end anyways, but the taste is worth it. So first step, I usually get a giant pot of water around that much, and I start boiling it while I'm setting up the fish. So you're gonna need some ginger, about half of a garlic, some green onion. I got this fish that's called live tilapia. It was like 6 something per pound. So overall, this whole fish was like $8. I'm honestly not really good with fish, so I'm not sure if like you could use other fish. I'm pretty sure you could. You don't have to do this, but I personally like to grow my own green onions. So as you can see, I have it grown here, and I cut some new ones, and I'm going to add some water and it'll just grow. But to be honest, they grow well and they're very green in the beginning, and then it'll start to get too light for my taste and I'll throw it out. I'm going to open up this jar of no preservative chicken broth and pour it into my soup pot here. This is just regular water. It's already boiling, and I'm just pouring in the chicken broth. If you have more, you're making it for a bigger party, you could do more, but I'm just doing one. So the fish is like really bloody, and they already cleaned it, so you can ask at most grocery stores to just kind of like clean it for you. So I think they scraped a lot of the scale, but I don't really trust it. I like to rinse it more before I fry it up. So the goal here is that I just want to make it more flavorful and fried up before I throw it in the soup, and then try my best to debone it, which is going to be tough. All right, so I have the fish in here. I'm just going to pour in some oil. I have it on high heat, and honestly, I feel like you can use any oil you want. I have olive oils, I just use that, and just literally gonna move it around, and I'm gonna put in some cooking wine. This is my cooking wine over here. There's many different brands, and I feel like a lot of people just use it to get rid of any meaty tastes, and then I guess it's just more like a fishy taste. While the fish is being cooked, I'm gonna work on the radish. So I got a very long piece of radish, and I'm just gonna peel the skin. So once it looks like this, you could chop it up. And when chopping, any shape is fine, but I personally like to just make very irregular shapes so I don't have to put too much effort in making it pretty. And honestly, once you put in the soup, the taste is there. All right, so while I was doing the radish, the fish pretty much is cooked on the outside at least, and I just put down the heat because I want to still throw in some garlic and ginger. My radish looks all abstract and crazy. I love it, so I'm just gonna set that to the side. So my mom actually tells me that it's better to fry the radish up just like the fish and then throw in the soup, but I'm kind of lazy, and so I'm just gonna fry up the fish and throw in the radish in the end. And just a tip, if you are not pressing down on your garlics to mash them, smash them, so it's easier for you to peel, then you're doing something wrong. So you want to make your garlic into slices like this because we're not making like minced meat or minced turkey or anything like that. So we don't need tiny little pieces in the soup. That's good enough to fry with your fish. So the heat is still off right now, but I threw in the green onions, well, without the roots. Now just put in the garlic. All right, last but not least, I got my ginger. Tossing it into the wok with the fish and everything else, I'm going to stir this up a little more and throw it into the soup. So you see how earlier I put in a lot of cooking wine, but a lot of that is dried up. And since I'm doing this as improv, just like everything else in my life, I'm gonna throw in something that my parents usually don't. I just really love this stuff. I think I'm addicted in terms of cooking, so I'm gonna put in some sweet cooking rice seasoning. Honestly, this stuff never hurt nobody, and it really just tastes good. I put it in like sukiyaki, obviously. Again, I'm just doing this for the flavoring and because that's apparently what you're supposed to do. But because you're gonna throw this in a boiling pot of like chicken water soup, it's gonna get cooked. So even if the inside is a little raw, it's definitely okay because I'm gonna be stewing this soup for a very long time. And I know I said I'm gonna debone it, but I actually want the bone nutrients to go into my soup base. So I feel like if I'm gonna debone anything, it's gonna come last when I already have the soup made. But probably before I toss in the radish, because if I toss in the radish first, it's gonna be really hard to debone because the bones will probably be stuck in my radish. All right, so this looks good. I'm gonna throw this into my giant pot of soup right now. It looks very oily from the chicken broth. No salt, nothing in it just yet. I probably am gonna put in the salt near the end. So super simple. You're literally just gonna toss every single thing in the content of the wok into the soup base. Lovely. I'm sorry, little fishy. So the game plan here is to let it be on high heat, which it is right now. And I'm just gonna let it cook for at least 30 minutes, possibly an hour if you're willing to wait. And hopefully all of the meat comes off and I can just debone it. If it gets really messy and the bones break, then so be it. But I will find the bones and put in the radish last. And then after you put in the radish, it's pretty much game over, done, and you can start eating. But you have to taste test it. It's definitely not going to be salty enough because I don't have any soy sauce. I could have technically put in soy sauce, I feel like, on the fish when I was frying it, but I didn't do that, so that's fine. Probably just going to put in some white pepper powder if you feel like it in the end, or probably just some salt. That's probably what I'll do once I'm done putting in the radish in the end. Also, I do have a question about the radish because my mom has this rule for me. I don't know where she came up with it, but she tells me not to put in carrots if I'm putting in white radish. Like apparently the two I don't know, crisscross and it's not good. I don't know if that's just some Asian myth or whatever it is. So let me know down in the comment section below if you're watching this and your parents also tell you the same thing. So yeah. I'm so excited. It honestly looks so good and like breathy already. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes and the fish was actually whole until I pressed down on it with a spatula and then it broke apart. So here comes the hardest part, I guess. I have to try and debone this thing so then when I'm drinking it, it's not just all bones, but it's pretty hard. So I see a big piece of bone right here. Oh, see that? As I was pulling it up, it already broke. So I'm just gonna move it to the side. I have a bowl on the side, just catching all of the bones. I feel like as hard as I try, there's still going to be a lot of bones because there's like the fin area and whatnot. But I tried. I'm just going to throw it to the side, put the meat in because we only want the meat in the soup. There still may be little pieces. This is honestly just the worst part about making fish soup. But it's all good because it smells so delicious. I wish you guys could smell it. I mean, it's not really going to be a waste because even though, I could just dip it in the soup. It's like a hot pot. So it's not going to be really a waste because even if there's extra meat on the bone, honestly, someone can just go and bite that off because it's fully cooked. So I'm just going to move that off. There's definitely more bone in here. Oh, I see them. Yep, see all of that? I mean, I usually can drink the soup and make sure I don't get the bone in, but you can't expect everybody to do that. So it's going to be a lot of work just really fishing that out. Fishing. See, lots of these pieces. Still going to be careful, so just spend some time doing this before throwing in the radish because like I said, last time I threw in the radish way too quickly. And then there was no turning back. Once you throw in the radish, it'll be very, very hard to get out any of the bones. But I got majority out. Majority of it out. Trying to get more bones, not really seeing any. Oh, never mind. There's a giant piece here. Oh gosh, that's a lot. I literally use my hands. It's not that hot. Okay, it does burn a little bit. Don't use your hands. Don't use your hands. Be careful as you watch my TikTok videos. Don't follow everything I do, please. But I hope you do try this recipe. So this is pretty much, okay. This is pretty much it. This is all the bones I got out. Clearly not all of it, but this is good. Now I am going to throw in the radish. Just let it cook until the radish is fully soft. And then we're good. Oops, ow. Be careful when putting it in. Do it gently.